I have recently installed an LED headlight bulb in this bike. I have no idea where it's pointing right now. I hope forward. But on this ride, I want to discuss a couple of things that have been on my mind. The first thing I want to talk about today and this is a personal issue that is under my skin. And all I really want to do today is flame a company. That company being Spectrum, the internet, phone, TV service people. Spectrum. Now a little backstory. Where I live, what you're seeing around us right now is what I would call rural. I'm outside the big city of Tampa by about 20 to 30 minutes. So I wouldn't say that I'm like in the middle of Wyoming rural, but I'm rural for Florida. And for the last, I guess, about 10 years, I have used a company called CenturyLink for my internet service. The reason I've been using CenturyLink is because they're the only ones that I can get. Unless I want to use Dish Network, the satellite system, or something like that, which I understand is quite hit and miss and expensive and kind of slow. So I've stuck with CenturyLink. They're not the greatest service. They have been mostly reliable. So I decided that what I was going to do was look into Spectrum. Now Spectrum, about 4 or 5 months ago, I guess, started dropping mailings in my box almost daily about how they're new to the area. They would send people out like little worker bees to sign people up. And I ignored it because, I had what I had. I knew its downfalls. It was fast enough, and it was relatively cheap. I pay just about $100 a month for CenturyLink. And I get, I want to say, I'm not a network kind of a guy, but I think it's 100 megabytes per second download speed, I think is what it is. So I've been happy with it because prior to CenturyLink, my only option was to have an air card that I got from my cell phone provider. And that was Sprint. And Sprint service was terrible. So the air card service was even worse. So when I got CenturyLink and it gave me relatively good service at a relatively good price, I stuck with them. Even though I really didn't have any other options. And even when Spectrum became an option, I decided I'm going to stay with CenturyLink. Until recently, I said, okay, I'm going to give them a shot. So I call up Spectrum. I said, look, I've gotten 400 things in the mail from you. You got it. I'll finally give you a shot. Okay, great, they tell me. You're going to love it. We're much faster than what you have right now. We understand that you've got DSL internet in your area. We're offering you fiber optic internet. The speeds are going to be amazing. All right, sounds good. How much is that going to cost me? Oh, well, great news. Our rates are, I think, $70 a month. So already we're cheaper. He goes, but the federal government, they're going to give you a subsidy. They didn't call it a subsidy. There's some kind of federal government plan for everyone that lives in your area to get an additional, I think it was $30 or $40 a month off what I was going to pay, which was about $70. So I was looking at fiber optic internet service from Spectrum to the tune of about $40 a month, somewhere in that ballpark range. And that price was going to be good for a year. So out of curiosity, because I'm a curious guy, I asked the salesman, I said, is that same federal government discount, is that available across all internet service providers? In other words, could CenturyLink have given me that discount a year ago? Because it's been out for, I guess, a year, ever since Joe Biden took office. Wonderful Papa Joe. And the guy says, yeah, absolutely. Everybody offers this. New customers, existing customers. If you live in a qualifying area, you automatically should get this discount applied to you. Okay. Well, CenturyLink never offered that to me, didn't give me a discount. In fact, my rate that I pay, which is about $100 a month, is about twice what a new customer to CenturyLink will pay. Now, that's a scam that companies run all the time. Existing customers pay X amount. New customers will pay about half of that for the first year. I never understood that. If I'm loyal to a company, but somebody new comes along, you'll give them a discount for a year, but give me nothing? How does that make good sense? Give everybody the discount, you know? Or maybe at worst, I don't know, give them $20 off a month. Charge us the same, but give them 10 or 20 bucks off a month for being a new customer. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm on the phone with the guy from Spectrum and I say, okay, I want to do this. Let's set it up. Okay, great. We'll have an installer there, I don't know, next Tuesday. It was a week later. So now I'm happy as a clam, right? I'm going to have blazing fast fiber optic internet for half the price. I don't have to do anything except meet the guy when he shows up to install it. So a week goes by and the day comes that the Spectrum installer is supposed to be there, and like clockwork, he shows up. He says, sir, I'm here to install your internet, but we've got a little bit of a problem. And I'm like, oh, what kind of a problem is that? He says, so I live on US 301. And where I live, 301 is a 4-lane divided highway, 2 lanes on each side, north-south, with a median in the middle. He says, the termination point for our fiber optic line is across 301, almost directly across from where you live. So that's the problem. He says, but when we run it across the road to be right in front of your house, that means from your house to the pole is going to be a very short distance. You're going to have speeds that are just going to floor you. You're not going to believe it. I wish that this is the installer talking, he goes, I wish that I could have the same speeds that you're going to have. And I work for the company. Now, I've been around long enough to know that most of the time when people that work for a company are talking that highly about a company, they're probably lying, whatever. I appreciated what the kid said. I'm like, okay, great, no problem. When can we run that line across? You're going to do that today? Well, now, there's the first problem. No, we can't do it today. It says, what I got to do is I got to call our dispatch center, and they're going to have to set up an appointment because we got to shut down the road. So there's got to be a crew that comes out here. They got to shut down half the road, run the line across, shut down the other half of the road, run the line the rest of the way across. He goes, but don't worry, we'll get that all scheduled before I leave. I'm like, all right, no problem. So he calls up the person. And it was just like he was some schmuck off the street. He calls up, he's like, hey, yeah, this is, I don't know, Frank. I'm an installer with Spectrum. and I'm out here to do an install for a new customer, and our line terminates across the street. He tells the whole story to the person on the phone. He goes, so I need to set up a time with the customer and you so you can come out here and run the line across the highway for him. And it's a woman he's talking to. And, we go back and forth for 15 minutes or so, trying to find a time that would work, both for me and for them. Because you see, I got to be home when they do this, is what this lady on the phone is telling us. Somebody has got to be at my house when they do it. Why, I don't know, because they're not going to install it at my house that day. They're just going to run it across the street. So we finally come to a day. And this day was about 1 month into the future. We went through probably 10 different options. And, it wouldn't work for me, it wouldn't work for them. We finally found one a month away. We agreed to it. I put it in my phone. She puts it on her work order scheduler. And I think everything's good. The guy apologizes for the inconvenience, tells me that, he may or may not be the one that comes back to do my install for me. But he apologized profusely for the inconvenience and the confusion. And, he was nice, so I accepted it. And that's where it ended. He gets in his truck and he drives away. Now, within an hour, I get a phone call from Spectrum that I miss. Because I got a life, right? So they call me about an hour after this guy leaves my yard. And later that night, I'm a night person, so when I get the message, it's late that night. It's a woman on the phone from Spectrum Dispatch. And she says, I'm calling just to confirm that you've got this date scheduled, a month in the future for us to come out and do an installation. I need you to call me back before the end of the business day so I can submit this work order. Now, by the time I get the message, it's past the end of the business day. That time has come and gone. So I'm thinking, great, this is wonderful. I call the number anyway, even though I know that it's past the 5 or 6 o'clock that it was, whatever it was, it's past that time. I call it anyway, and sure enough, I can't get anyone on the phone. In fact, you can't even get Spectrum Dispatch. The number she gave me is a generic number for Spectrum. And when you call it, you get somebody on the phone from sales, and you tell them this is why I'm calling. They route you through 4 or 5 different people until ultimately you get a voicemail system because they're already closed, which you already knew before you called. So that's where I'm at. And now I'm mad, right? Because I had just gone through a half hour's worth of discussion with the dispatch lady earlier, a different lady, of course, to get the time that the second lady was calling to confirm for me. So, now, I go to bed. While I'm sleeping, because again, I work nights, so I sleep during the day. While I'm sleeping, the lady from the night before calls me back again. And she said, hey, I'm calling to see if you want this appointment still. You didn't call me back yesterday. If I don't hear back from you by the end of business today, I'm going to cancel your appointment. Well, I didn't get that message until after the end of the business day. So my appointment gets canceled. Now, they've not done anything. They sent somebody out. So now I'm kind of invested in this, right? I've called them numerous times. I've made numerous appointments with them. I've gotten a little bit excited about paying half as much as I currently pay for way faster internet speeds. I want Spectrum service. So I call. Like a schmuck, I call them up again. I say, look, this is what happened. Can you help me out? And the guy on the phone's like, oh, yeah, sure, that's not a problem. I apologize for that inconvenience. We didn't, there was some miscommunication on our side. This won't happen again, I guarantee you. Let's get you set up with a brand new account. We go through this whole song and dance where I set up an email address and a password, and I've got access to an account. And he sets up a date for the installer to come out and run the line across the street. We hang up. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm thinking, all right, finally this is going to work. The date's not terribly far into the future, but it's like 2 more weeks. This time, that appointment sticks. 2 more weeks, these guys come out. I never see it happen, but they run the fiber optic line across US 301 in front of my house. It's now on the right side of the street where it needs to be. I don't know if I was home or not because I never saw them do it. So that first bunch of bullshit about me needing to be home, that wasn't true. But the reason I know it occurred is because the day came and went that they were supposed to be there and that I was supposed to be home. And I never heard from anybody. They're supposed to call you the day before and say, okay, we're going to be here like we promised. Whatever. They never called me. I call them up. I'm like, hey, look, I don't know what the problem is, why you guys don't want to give me internet service. But nobody came yesterday. It's like, oh, no, we did. Our crew came out there. The line has been run across the street. You're good to go. All we got to do now is we got to schedule a day for the guy to come out and hook it up from the pole to your house, and you can sit back and enjoy the best internet service you've ever seen in your life. All right. Lay it on me, lady. When can we do it? She gives me a day. That day was today. Now, you don't know this, probably, but today is December 2nd. Is it the 2nd or the 1st? Shoot, I don't even know what day it is. I think it's the 1st. Either way, it's the 1st or the 2nd. I'll put it on the screen when I'm editing the video. The appointment was today. The guy was supposed to be at my house between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock p.m. 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 hour. He's supposed to be there to install the internet. So I get my happy ass up 3 hours earlier than I usually do to be there because I got to be there with the guy, is what I'm told when they make the appointment. I got to be there. Not just me, but my photo ID. We both got to be there. Well, 12 o'clock comes around, and I get the obligatory automated phone call from Spectrum telling me that they're going to be there today between 12 and 1. Be there with your ID, and, we're going to do your internet. 12 o'clock shows up, nobody's there. 12:15 rolls around, nobody's there. 12:30 rolls around, nobody's there. 12:45, you get the picture. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody's still there. So I go and I run a couple of errands that I got to run. I come back, nobody has still been there. I'm livid. I'm ready now to find the most local Spectrum office and drive there in person. But whoa. What I do is I call them. And I get another lady on the phone. I keep saying lady. It just so happens that, except for one time, anytime I call Spectrum, I get a woman. One time I got a guy. But I call, and I tell this lady, she answers, she goes, hey, this is Spectrum, blah, 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 can I help you? The first question I ask her is, are you with fiber optics? Because that's the game they play. fiber optics especially, or apparently is a separate entity within Spectrum, and you got to deal with them. You know, regular internet people or TV people or whoever people can't help you. It's got to be the fiber optics team. So I asked her, I said, "Are you with fiber optics?" And she says, no, I'm not. But can I help you, sir? I'm confident that I can solve your problem today. And I'm laughing to myself. I'm not confident. So I give her my name, I give her my number, I give her my address, and I say, I'm calling because, she asked me, why are you calling today, sir? So I'm calling because I win. You guys win. I get it. She goes, well, I don't understand. We win what? I said, you do not want to give me internet service. I've never once had a company that tries so hard not to service its customers or get new customers as you guys. But I finally get it. Oh, no, sir, no. I see that you've got a lot of notes in your account, and there's been a lot of problems, and I apologize for that. I really do. We were supposed to be there today between 12 and 1 o'clock. She goes, but our installer's been delayed. He's going to be there. He's going to be there at 4:30. I'm pretty sure she told me 4:34, I think. But, you know, maybe I misheard her. She definitely said that or 4:30. He's going to be there at 4:30. Now, it's 2:30 at this time. I had plans today of taking my dirt bike out to the woods, spending a couple hours up there riding, making a little video. You know, I put a chain and sprockets on the bike a week ago. But I thought, okay, 2:30, 4:30. You know, I'll give him till 4:30. Maybe he won't take too long, and I can still go out. It's getting dark now. It's about 5:30. You know, I'll get a little bit of riding in. It's not ideal, but at least I'll have internet made for a king. Well, 4:30 came, and guess who was sitting around with his thumb up his ass and no internet service? This guy. Wasn't this thumb though, it was the other one. They've still not come to my house. I can't see my watch. I don't know exactly what time it is, but it's about 5:30. They're an hour late. If you go back to the original time, they're 5.5 hours late. 4.5 hours if you give them to the outside of their window. Spectrum can kiss my ass. I will make it my point to degrade Spectrum to any person I can talk to. I'll be in the store from now on and I'll ask somebody, do you have internet service? Do you have Spectrum? Don't use Spectrum. They hate you. They don't want to service customers. I'm going to do it as long as I can, for as long as I'm mad, which will be, you know, a little while, a week or two. I can't believe it. So what I'm going to do now is first, I'm going to stick with CenturyLink because, hey, they're still working. They're still inconsistent, but they still work. And then I'm going to look into Elon Musk's internet service. Was it Starlink or Star Wars or I don't know. Whatever his satellite internet service is, I'm going to look into it. Now, I think it's like $500 or $600 just for the equipment. But then after that, it's either $100 or $199 a month. I don't know. My luck, it'll be $600 for the equipment and $200 a month for the service, because that'll be double what I pay right now. That's just the way things seem to go. Instead of getting my internet for half of the price, I'm going to get my internet for twice as much as I pay. And it's satellite, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I have no idea. That's it. So I just wanted to rant today. I wanted to get that off my chest. That's it. I do feel a little bit better unloading, even though, you know, I'm not special. It just feels good. Feels good to vent. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.